Have you ever felt like a puppet? Without realizing it, invisible strings have been attached to your soul. A string for every careless comment online. A string for every news headline engineered to provoke your outrage. A string for the morning traffic, for the judgment in a stranger's gaze, for the likes you receive, and for the ones you don't. With every pull, a jolt, a reaction, a surge of anxiety, a flash of anger, a sting of envy. You are in a state of constant reaction, a dance choreographed by the outside world, not by you. You are living in the center of a permanent hurricane, a hurricane of information, opinions, demands, and the judgments of others. And in this chaos, your peace of mind has become a hostage to an algorithm, to a work email, or even to the shifting mood of another person. This is a deep spiritual exhaustion. It's the feeling of being perpetually one step behind yourself because your mental energy is spent managing emotional responses to things you have absolutely no control over. You are playing a game where others wrote the rules, and the goal is to capture your attention and your energy. Perhaps you know the feeling, that quiet sense of emptiness, even on a good day. That question of why, when everything seems fine, there is a low hum of anxiety in the background. The answer is that your stillness is built on a foundation of sand. It is outsourced, dependent on conditions that can and will change in an instant. But what if? What if there was a way to cut these strings? What if you could stand in the eye of the hurricane, calm, centered, and still, and let the wind and the rain rage around you without it moving you an inch? You must understand this power is not a supernatural gift. It is not a talent. It is a discipline, a lost art. It is the profound and powerful art of indifference. And the freedom you are searching for is found not in changing the world, but in changing the value you assign it to it.
That word, indifference, may trouble you. In our world, it suggests coldness, apathy, even cruelty. But this is a shallow reading of a profound truth, a truth that wasn't born in the noise of the modern world, but was forged in the crucible of history by minds of steel. To understand this art, we must journey to the past, to an age of rising and falling empires, when human life was subject to plague, war, and tyranny. Amidst this chaos, a school of philosophers emerged whom we now call the Stoics. But that name doesn't do them justice. They were architects of the soul. Think of Marcus Aurelius, the most powerful man on earth, ruling an empire ravaged by war and plague, yet at night, in a leather-bound journal, he wrote not for history, but for himself, fighting not to conquer the world, but to conquer his inner world. Think of Seneca, a statesman who experienced the heights of wealth and power only to be cast into bitter exile. He saw both sides of fortune's coin and learned that true happiness and misery are minted within. And Epictetus, a man who was born a slave, whose legs were shackled in iron, but whose mind soared with more freedom than any emperor. Having no control over his own body or his external conditions, he came to the deepest possible understanding of where true freedom lies. These three men from vastly different stations in life arrived at the same world-shattering truth. They discovered that the source of true slavery is not iron chains, but the invisible chains of our own judgment. And the key to breaking these chains lies in a single, powerful principle. This principle, the bedrock of all Stoic wisdom, is called the dichotomy of control. Imagine you draw a line through the universe. On one side, you place everything that you have no absolute control over: your reputation, your health, your wealth, What other people think of you or say about you, their actions, whether it rains or shines, whether you get stuck in traffic, the past and the final outcome of your efforts. All of this belongs to the realm of fortune, fate, or nature. It is external to your direct will. Now, look at the other side of the line. What is left? Only one small but supremely powerful domain remains: your inner world. Your judgments, your impulses, your desires and aversions, your decision to label an event good or bad, your will to act. These things and these things alone are completely within your control. The source of all human anxiety, anger, and despair lies in one simple, catastrophic error: trying to control what is not in our domain while neglecting the one thing that is. We spend our lives worrying about the opinions of others while abandoning our own. We agonize over the outcome of a project when the only thing we truly command is our own effort and intention. We hand the strings of the puppet over to external events and then wonder why we are pulled in every direction.
And this brings us to the true meaning of Stoic indifference. Stoic indifference, what they called apatheia, does not mean a lack of feeling. That is a common mistake. Apatheia means a freedom from passion or freedom from destructive, irrational emotions. It means having feelings, but not being a slave to them. Stoic indifference means you maintain a state of calm neutrality toward everything that lies outside your control. Fame? It's fine to have, but your tranquility doesn't depend on it. Wealth? It's useful, but losing it won't destroy your soul. An insult from another person, it is merely vibrations in the air, unless you choose to interpret it as a wound. This is the ability to love without being paralyzed by the fear of loss. It is the ability to strive for a goal without being shattered by failure, because you have attached your self-worth to the effort, not the outcome. The Stoics used a beautiful metaphor to describe this state of mind: the inner citadel. Imagine your mind is an impenetrable fortress. Its walls are high, its gates are strong. Outside this fortress, the world rages on with all its chaos: wars, betrayals, insults, failures. These events are like a besieging army storming the walls of your citadel. They scream, they throw stones, they try to incite fear. But you, and you alone, are the guardian of the gate. And the key to that gate is your judgment or your assent. When an external event happens, say your boss criticizes your work, that event is like a messenger arriving at the gate of your fortress. You have two choices. You can swing the gate wide open, welcoming the messenger in with your judgment. This is terrible. This is unfair. I am a failure. At that moment, you have allowed the enemy inside your citadel. It now roams your halls, plunders your peace, and holds you hostage. Or you can stand atop the battlements of your citadel and observe the messenger. You can see him, hear his message, and then calmly say, "That is merely one person's opinion. It is an external event. It is not up to me. The only thing up to me is how I choose to respond." And then you keep the gate firmly shut. The enemy may rage outside, but within your citadel there is quiet, there is peace. The art of indifference is the art of guarding this gate. It is the profound understanding that nothing external can harm you. Only your own judgment can. This is the key that unlocks your chains and allows you to transform from a puppet into the architect of your own soul.
So, you now hold the key to the inner citadel. But possessing a key is one thing. Knowing how to live within the fortress is another. Philosophy that is not practiced in daily life is nothing more than an intellectual amusement, a beautiful map never used for a journey. Our goal is not merely to admire this map, it is to become fearless explorers of the terrain of our own minds. This is where theory is hammered into practice. This is where we place the steel in the fire. Here, then, are 5 practical exercises, 5 iron disciplines to become the master of your citadel and apply the art of indifference to the modern world. Discipline 1. The art of triage, the dichotomy of control in practice. This is the beating heart of your daily Stoic practice. You must become a ruthless, lightning-fast triage officer in your own mind. At any moment of the day, especially moments of stress, you must cultivate the mental habit of asking, in this exact situation, what is truly up to me and what is not. Let's take a painfully modern example. You spend time and thought sharing something on social media, a piece of art, an analysis, a personal experience. And then you see it, a harsh, unfair, demeaning comment from a complete stranger. The untrained, automatic reaction? Your heart pounds, a hot flush of anger floods your face, your fingers itch to type a crushing reply. Your day is ruined. That one comment occupies all of your mental real estate. The puppet strings have been pulled hard. Now, let's apply the art of triage. In that moment, before you react, you pause and make your 2 lists. What is not up to you? The fact that this person wrote the comment, their opinion of you or your work, their misunderstanding, their intention, or perhaps their own bad day. The algorithm that showed you the comment, the existence of the comment itself on the screen. What is absolutely up to you? Your interpretation of those typed words, your choice to label it devastating or irrelevant, your decision to reply, to ignore, or to block, the value you assign to the opinion of an anonymous stranger online, your emotional state for the next minute, the next hour, and the next day. By performing this simple triage, a magical shift occurs. You pivot your energy from the futile effort of changing the unchangeable, that person's opinion, to the powerful act of mastering the completely controllable, your own response. The comment is no longer a personal attack on your citadel. It is merely a weather event in the outside world, a strong wind that blows past while you remain sheltered and calm within your walls. Apply this everywhere, in traffic, in work meetings, in family arguments. Triage, constantly. It is the first step to reclaiming your power. Discipline 2. The view from above. This is a powerful technique for shrinking your problems and silencing the ego. Our ego has a tendency to inflate every personal problem into a world-ending crisis. This exercise is the antidote. When you feel overwhelmed by a problem, a work deadline, a financial worry, a personal conflict, do this. Close your eyes, take a deep breath, and now begin to zoom out. Picture yourself in the room you're in. Then gently float upwards. See your house, your neighborhood, your city spread out below you like a glowing map. Higher still, see your country with its mountains and rivers and borders. Higher, see the earth, a fragile sphere of blue and white suspended in an immense and silent void. That pale blue dot that Carl Sagan spoke of. All of human history, every war, every love story, every piece of art has taken place on this tiny stage. But don't stop. Zoom past our solar system, past the gas giants and the asteroid belt. See the Milky Way galaxy, a vast swirling vortex of 100 billion stars, our own sun just a speck of dust on its outer arm. And then go beyond. See the billions of other galaxies, each containing billions of other stars. Now, from this silent, cosmic vantage point, think of your original problem. In this vast, silent landscape, how much does that worrying email, that petty argument, that missed opportunity truly weigh? This exercise isn't meant to foster nihilism, but perspective. It's to understand that the universe does not revolve around our problems. It shrinks the ego, which loves to cast itself as the center of the universe, back to its proper size. When you view your troubles from above, they lose their emotional gravity. They become what they truly are: small, transient events in the vast expanse of existence.
Discipline 3. Premeditating hardship, the psychological vaccine. This is perhaps the most counterintuitive and yet most powerful of the Stoic disciplines. It may seem morbid at first, but it is, in fact, an incredible tool for building resilience and gratitude. Seneca called it premeditation malorum, the premeditation of evils. The exercise is not about being pessimistic, it's about being prepared. Each morning, or at any quiet time, spend a few moments vividly imagining that you have lost the things you love and take for granted. Imagine you've lost your job. Truly feel it. The sense of uncertainty, the fear. Imagine your health has failed. Imagine your home is gone. And the hardest part? Imagine your loved ones are no longer with you. Allow yourself to feel a small, controlled dose of that loss. What is the point of this mental torture? Two incredibly powerful benefits. First, it is a psychological vaccine. By practicing grief and loss in small, controlled doses, you inoculate yourself against the shock of the real thing. If fortune ever does deliver a blow, it will not be the first time you have confronted it. Your mind has walked that path before. The initial shock will be less, and your ability to manage it will be greater. But the second benefit is more immediate and beautiful. After this mental exercise, when you open your eyes and return to your actual world, what happens? That job you may complain about is no longer a burden. It is a source of stability and opportunity. That body you may neglect is a miracle of life and movement. That house is a sanctuary, and those loved ones, their presence is no longer a given. Every moment with them becomes a precious gift. This exercise pulls you out of the fog of taking life for granted and allows you to see what you have with clarity and profound gratitude. You do not become indifferent to these things. You become indifferent to your fragile attachment to their permanent presence, and instead develop a deep appreciation for their existence right here, right now.
Discipline 4. The journal as a forge. A Stoic's journal is not a teenager's diary. It is not a logbook of events. It is an operating table for the soul. It is a private, powerful tool for self-examination and self-improvement. It is your forge. Every night before you sleep, spend a few minutes with a pen and paper and answer 3 questions. These are the questions that philosophers like Seneca would ask themselves. Question 1. What did I do wrong today? This is not for self-pity. It is for honest accountability. Where did I let the Citadel's guard down? Where did I allow a rash judgment to disturb my peace? Where did I grant an external event power it did not deserve? Observe without judgment. Question 2. What did I do right? Where did I hold to my principles? In which situation did I manage to pause and offer a considered response instead of an emotional reaction? Where did I successfully keep the gate shut to an insult or a disappointment? Acknowledge your successes. This reinforces the correct neural pathways. Question 3. What could I do better? Based on your previous answers, what is your action plan for tomorrow? If you face a similar situation again, how will you act differently? Write down a specific strategy. This turns intention into a concrete plan. This daily practice forces you to look at your life through the eyes of a philosopher. You are no longer moving through life on autopilot.
Every day becomes a lesson to be learned, an opportunity to improve. This journal is your mirror, your coach, and your conscience. It is where the raw iron of your character is hammered, day by day, into tempered steel.
Discipline 5. The pause and the reframe. The power of withholding assent. This is perhaps the most practical and immediate technique in the Stoic arsenal. Epictetus reminds us, it's not things that upset us, but our judgment about things. Our power lies in the tiny space between the event and our interpretation of it. The exercise has two parts, the pause and the reframe. The pause. You must install a conscious circuit breaker between stimulus and response. When something happens that would normally trigger you, someone cuts you off in traffic, a colleague interrupts you, you hear a piece of bad news. Before you do anything, just take one deep breath, a 1-second pause. This pause, however brief, creates a gap in the chain of automatic reaction. In that gap lies your freedom. The reframe. During this pause, strip the event of the emotional story you have attached to it and describe it in plain, objective facts. Let's use an example. A colleague takes credit for your idea in a meeting. The emotional story, the initial judgment. They stole my idea. This is a gross injustice. No one respects me or my work. I'll never get ahead in this company. This story is filled with anger, victimhood, and despair. This story is the source of your suffering. The objective reframe, the facts without judgment. During the meeting, I presented idea X. Later, my colleague also presented idea X as their own and was praised by the manager. That's it. Those are the facts. There is no judgment about justice, theft, or your value. It is simply a description of an event. When you reframe an event like this, you neutralize its emotional power. It's no longer an attack on you, it's just a set of data. From this calm, objective position, you can now make a rational decision. Perhaps you decide to speak to the colleague or your manager calmly. Perhaps you decide it's not important enough to pursue, and you let it go. The key is that you are no longer acting out of an emotional hijack. You are acting from a position of power and clarity. You transform from a victim of your feelings into a strategic analyst of your own situation. This is withholding assent from your first impression. This is taking back control of the narrative in your mind. These 5 disciplines are your tools. Practice them daily. They will feel awkward and unnatural at first, but through repetition, they will become second nature. This is the path of building your inner citadel, the path from reaction to response, from slavery to mastery.
Our journey together reaches a turning point here. We began with the image of a puppet, its strings pulled by every external event and opinion. We then discovered the ancient key of the Stoics, the dichotomy of control, which taught us where true power resides, not in the world outside, but in the unshakable domain of the mind. And finally, with 5 iron disciplines, we learned how to transform from a passive victim into the active architect of our inner citadel. The goal was never to become a cold, unfeeling stone. The goal is to achieve an unshakable tranquility, a peace so profound that it allows you to engage with life with courage and clarity, not to retreat from it. It is the freedom to choose your response. This is true freedom. But knowledge without application is useless, and so the challenge now turns to you. I have one question for you, a specific and practical question. Starting today, what is the one external string you will choose to cut? What is that one external thing, a person's opinion, a news feed, an expectation, a memory,
that you will consciously decide to no longer grant power over your inner peace. This is not a solitary exercise. It is a pact, a declaration. Declare your answer in the comments below. In doing so, you not only make a commitment to yourself, you give courage to others on this same path, showing them they are not alone. Let us turn this comment section into a monument to our inner independence. And now that you have taken the first step to building your citadel, you must know that this is not the end of the journey, it is only the beginning. Mastering indifference and building your inner citadel will protect you from life's storms. It will give you a safe harbor. But once you are safe from the storm, what then?